ladies and gentlemen. If you're chasing easy now, you're guaranteeing hard later. But if you do what's hard now, life has a way of handing you what's easy later. And that's where we begin today. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed the easy crowd is always full, but the winner's circle always looks empty? That's not a coincidence. That's design. See, the easy crowd has more smiles today, but more regrets tomorrow. The hard crowd has more sacrifices today, but more freedom tomorrow, and your tomorrow is being built right now. Now, before you turn this off, let me be honest with you. This isn't a motivational pep talk where I pat you on the back and tell you you're doing great just for showing up. This is for those of you who are tired of being stuck, tired of spinning your wheels, tired of watching others grow while you feel like you're living on repeat. If that's not you, go ahead, join the easy crowd. But if that is you, stick with me, because I'm going to give you 6 principles that will flip the script. 6 shifts that separate the crowd from the few who actually win. So let's go to work. The easy crowd is always easy to find. They're everywhere. At the cafe at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday, talking about nothing. On the couch binge-watching shows that don't pay, scrolling phones that don't build. They're the ones who say things like, life's too short to stress, while living month to month, dodging opportunity, and blaming the world for their results. And here's the strange thing. At first glance, it looks like they're winning. No pressure, no stress, no early mornings, no late nights. They're laughing, relaxing, taking it easy. But if you look a little closer, really look, you'll see it's not ease. It's avoidance. It's not freedom. It's passivity disguised as peace. Because what's easy to do is also easy not to do. And over time, that adds up. You skip reading a book today. It doesn't hurt. You don't start the business this week. Life goes on. You ignore the workout, avoid the journal, blow off the budget, no lightning strikes. And that's the danger. There's no immediate punishment for taking it easy, but the bill always comes due. The crowd that chooses easy habits ends up carrying hard consequences, and by the time they realize it, the gap between where they are and where they could have been is enormous. It's not just income, it's confidence, it's choices, it's integrity. The easy crowd loses not because they're bad people, but because they let their potential collect dust. I knew a guy who used to say, "I just want to be comfortable." That was his mantra. He avoided pressure like it was poison. If something required effort, he dodged it, always waiting for the right chance, which never came. 10 years later, he was still in the same place, same job, same debt, same excuses. You ever hear someone say, "I'm doing my best," and deep down you know they're not? He was one of those. And life didn't reward that. It didn't hand him a trophy for staying safe. It handed him quiet desperation. Now contrast that with someone who chooses the uncomfortable path. They wake up early, not because it's easy, but because it matters. They invest time in learning, building, stretching, not because it's comfortable, but because growth doesn't happen on the couch. And yes, it's lonely sometimes. You'll lose some friends when you stop being available for average. You'll get laughed at, called intense, too serious. But that's okay, because those who mock the grind will one day envy the results. While the easy crowd is stuck blaming, wishing, waiting, you'll be building, brick by brick, day by day, quietly creating the kind of life the easy crowd only dreams of. So no, don't join the easy crowd. It might look good from the outside, but on the inside, it's empty, full of missed chances and silent regret. The easy path may be well lit and popular, but it doesn't lead anywhere worth going. There's a gap between where you are and where you want to be, and that gap has a name. It's called discipline. Not motivation, not luck, not timing, just good old-fashioned discipline. The kind of habit that gets up when the bed feels warm, that reads when others are scrolling, that says no when everyone else is saying yes. Discipline is quiet. It doesn't shout. It doesn't announce itself, but it works behind the scenes, compounding day after day until the results become impossible to ignore. And here's what most people miss. It's not the big things that make the biggest difference. It's the small things, done consistently, especially when you don't feel like doing them. I met a man once who told me, "I'm just waiting to feel ready." And I said, "That's why you'll be waiting forever." You don't feel your way into discipline. You act your way into it. You train it like a muscle, and just like a muscle, it's going to burn at first. You're going to want to quit. You're going to want to rationalize every excuse in the book. "I'm tired. I've got too much going on. Just this once." And if you give in, the easy crowd will welcome you back with open arms. But if you don't, if you choose to stick it out, you'll cross over to where the few live, and that's where life changes. Discipline is the great separator. It's the line in the sand between mediocrity and mastery. Look around. Success leaves clues. The people who are winning, they're not necessarily smarter than you. They don't have more time than you. But what they do have is a rhythm, a structure, a self-imposed standard they hold themselves to, especially when no one's watching. They run their day like it matters, because it does. The disciplined don't rely on luck. They rely on process. And while everyone else is reacting to life, they're directing it. I remember when I first learned that every new result requires a new routine. That hit me hard. I couldn't keep my old habits and expect new outcomes. That's like planting tomato seeds and hoping for strawberries. It doesn't work. And once I started replacing comfort with consistency, the game changed. No more waiting for inspiration. No more hoping for the perfect mood. I made the decision once, and then let discipline take over from there. Because when your habits are stronger than your moods, you become unstoppable. You don't have to be extreme. You just have to be consistent. 5 push-ups, 10 pages, 1 uncomfortable conversation. Every day, stack the bricks, build the wall, lay the foundation. Because discipline doesn't just shape your results, it shapes you. The disciplined version of you is stronger, sharper, more confident, and more trusted by others and by yourself. And once you become someone who can trust themselves to follow through, the world starts to move differently around you. Not because it changed, but because you did. Time is not the asset most people think it is. Everybody's got 24 hours. Rich or broke, lazy or driven, time is the great equalizer. What isn't equal, though, is what people do with that time. Because in the marketplace, you don't get paid for hours. You get paid for value. And value doesn't come from showing up. Value comes from leveling up. Showing up might keep you in the game, but growing up, that's what wins it. The moment you understand that time is just the canvas and value is the paint, you'll stop counting hours and start increasing worth. There are people making minimum wage working 60 hours a week. And there are people making 6 figures working 20. It's not about time, it's about transformation. What did you do with that hour? Who did you help? What problem did you solve? What idea did you generate? What skill did you sharpen? If all you do is punch in, punch out, go home, and repeat, you're not building value, you're just burning time. The market doesn't care how long you tried. It cares what you produced. And the secret? You can produce more when you become more. Someone once asked, "How can I earn more money?" And the answer was simple. Become more valuable to more people. That's it. Solve bigger problems. Learn rare skills. Speak better. Think sharper. Show up with energy instead of just presence. Want to double your income? Triple your value. Want to be irreplaceable? Do what no one else is willing to do. And that doesn't mean harder work, it means smarter work. Work that actually moves the needle. Work that multiplies. Now I know some people will say, "But I work hard." That's great. But the question isn't whether you work hard, it's whether what you're working on is worth it. You can dig holes all day and fill them back in. Hard work, zero value. Or you can spend 1 hour learning a skill that solves someone's $10,000 problem. And boom, you've just become more valuable. That's the difference. Not effort, impact. The people who are winning in life are obsessed with impact. They're not just checking boxes, they're building bridges. And here's the beautiful part. Value is not fixed, it's flexible. You can grow it, you can compound it. Every book you read, every rep you take, every uncomfortable action, it all adds up. And over time, that growth becomes obvious. Not because you announced it, but because the world can feel it. You walk different. You talk different. You deliver different. And suddenly doors start opening. Not because you waited long enough, but because you became the kind of person opportunity looks for. Most people are running, not towards something, but away from something. Away from discomfort. Away from challenge. Away from pressure. They think pain is the enemy. But here's the truth that flips the whole game. Pain is the price of progress. You can either pay it now or pay it later, with interest. Because pain doesn't disappear, it just gets transferred. Skip the workout today, feel the regret tomorrow, avoid the hard conversation, live with the tension for years. Dodge the discipline, inherit the disappointment. Life will collect what's owed. So the real question is, what kind of pain do you want? There's the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. One weighs ounces, the other weighs tons. Discipline is uncomfortable, sure. It's waking up early when the bed is warm. It's making the call when you feel nervous. It's studying when you'd rather scroll. But it's short term. It's sharp. It cuts, but it heals. It makes you better. Now regret? Regret lingers. Regret shows up in the quiet moments. It whispers to you at night. It reminds you of what could have been, if you'd just been willing to stretch. And there's no relief from it, because you can't go back and redo a moment you avoided. Once the window closes, it's gone. Avoiding pain is the default setting of the average crowd. That's why they live small lives. They build their schedules around comfort and convenience and then wonder why they feel stuck. They think success is about finding the path with the least resistance. But real success? It's forged in resistance. It's in the gym when you want to quit. It's on the blank page when your brain says you've got nothing. It's in saying no when your old life calls you back. That's where transformation lives. That's the friction that forges greatness. The most successful people you admire didn't avoid pain. They chose it. They understood that pressure creates diamonds. They didn't wait until they felt ready. They started when it was hard. They leaned into discomfort. They trained their mind to embrace the temporary burn for the long-term gain. They felt the same fear, the same resistance, the same desire to run, but they did it anyway. And that's what separates them, not talent, not luck, but their relationship with pain. While most see it as a stop sign, they saw it as a signal. So what's holding you back right now? What have you been avoiding? That phone call? That project? That decision? It's not going away. It's just waiting. Waiting for you to grow into the version of yourself that can handle it. And when you finally decide that your dreams are worth more than your excuses, pain becomes your ally. It becomes the tool, not the trap. And when you live that way, you don't fear discomfort anymore. You welcome it. Because you've learned something powerful. Pain is temporary, but regret is forever. Comfort is a trap dressed like a reward. It whispers to you, you've done enough, take it easy, you've earned it. And at first it feels right, it feels safe, but what it really does is seduce you into stillness. It convinces you that maintaining is winning. But here's the truth. If you're not growing, you're shrinking. There is no standing still. Comfort is not a neutral zone. It's a slow decline. It doesn't hit you all at once. It shows up gradually. A skipped workout here, a missed opportunity there, another week passing without progress. Before you know it, you've been in the same place for months, maybe even years. Every breakthrough you're looking for, every version of you that you admire in your mind, every dream with your name on it, it all lives on the other side of comfort. But most people won't go there. Why? Because it's hard, because it's unfamiliar, because growth requires pressure, and pressure makes people squirm. The comfort zone is predictable, repeatable, easy to explain. No criticism, no failure, no rejection. But there's also no greatness there. No stretch, no discovery, and no self-respect that comes from doing the hard thing and proving to yourself that you're capable of more. Think back to any meaningful moment of growth in your life. I guarantee it didn't happen when you were relaxed, chilling, and in control. It happened when your back was against the wall, when you didn't know how it would turn out, when your hands were sweating, your heart was racing, and you said yes anyway. That's growth. That's where identity shifts. That's where confidence gets built. Not by reading about it, not by thinking about it, but by stepping into the discomfort and doing the thing. I've met people who want big results with small habits. They want to stay safe and still win. But growth doesn't work like that. It doesn't come to the cautious. It comes to the committed. And it rewards those who are willing to look foolish at first, who are willing to get it wrong, to stumble, to fall, and then get back up sharper, stronger, and wiser. That's the trade. And here's the powerful part. The more you step out of your comfort zone, the bigger that zone gets. What used to scare you becomes your new normal. What used to intimidate you becomes your starting point. And that's when life starts to open up. Comfort wants to keep you small. Growth wants to make you great. The question is, which one are you serving every day? Because your decisions are either building your future or protecting your past. And the future isn't found in what's easy. It's found in what stretches you. If you look at the majority and do the opposite, you're usually headed in the right direction. That's just the way the math works. Most people are broke. Not just financially, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Broke thinking, broke habits, broke standards, and here's the wild part, they're loud about it. Everyone's got advice, but few have results. And if you listen to the easy crowd too long, you start to think they make sense. You start thinking average is normal, that playing it safe is smart, that waiting is wisdom. But if you want to be wealthy in any area of life, you have to unplug from that noise and study results, not opinions. The broke crowd spends before they earn. They consume before they create. They chase status over skills. They major in distractions. And the scariest part? They make it look okay. They normalize struggle. Everyone's in debt. It's just how life is. You gotta enjoy yourself. But they're not enjoying life, they're escaping it, trying to mask dissatisfaction with entertainment, spending, and comfort food. And if you're not careful, you'll absorb that mindset. You'll find yourself defending decisions that are quietly dismantling your future. Because broke is not just about money, it's a pattern. And patterns produce outcomes. Now look at the wealthy, not just financially, but the ones who own their lives. They think differently. They act differently. They delay gratification. They trade the short-term thrill for long-term freedom. They don't try to look rich. They build real wealth. They don't follow trends, they follow principles. They invest in assets, not liabilities. In habits, not hacks. In growth, not gossip. And guess what? It's not glamorous. You won't see it all over social media, but you will see it in their peace, in their schedule, in their options. They've built a life they don't need to escape from, and that's the real flex. There's a reason the wealthy hang around other wealthy people. It's not snobbery, it's strategy. Because environment is influence. Hang around 5 broke thinkers, you'll be the 6th. Hang around 5 growth-minded people, you'll level up whether you like it or not. That's how powerful proximity is. The broke crowd will pull you down with jokes, distractions, and self-pity. The wealthy crowd will challenge you, stretch you, and make you feel uncomfortable, in the best way. They won't let you settle. They'll remind you that you're capable of more. And once you taste that environment, you'll never want to go back. So no, don't do what the broke crowd does. Don't follow average advice from people with average lives. Don't mimic comfort when your soul is craving progress. Break the pattern. Choose differently, think longer, move smarter. The easy road leads to a hard life, but the hard road, that's the path to real wealth. The kind you can feel, not just flash, absolutely. Here's a powerful, compelling conclusion and ending for your speech titled, "Don't Join the Easy Crowd," written in the timeless, soul-grabbing style that keeps the audience thinking long after the last word. So now you know. The easy crowd, it looks tempting, it sounds comfortable, it even feels good for a little while. But make no mistake, it's a trap dressed in leisure. It trades your future for temporary relief. It whispers promises it never intends to keep. It gives you company but not progress. It'll keep you entertained but never fulfilled. And every day you walk with that crowd, your dreams take one step back. But here's the beautiful truth. You don't have to stay there. You can choose the narrow path, the lonely one, the uphill climb, the one with fewer voices but far better views. You can become the person who says no when it's easier to say yes, the one who builds when others sleep, the one who grows while others gossip. You can decide to become someone the easy crowd doesn't even recognize anymore. And that decision, that's the beginning of your new life. Because when you stop chasing easy and start choosing purpose, when you stop needing approval and start seeking growth, when you stop fearing pain and start embracing discipline, that's when things shift. Not overnight, not without resistance, but day by day, choice by choice, you'll rise. Quietly, relentlessly. And one day you'll look around and realize you don't belong in the easy crowd because you were never meant to. You were built for more. You were built to stretch. You were built to lead. And now, it's time. So don't join the easy crowd. Lead the rare one. Live the hard way. And earn the kind of life the rest will wish they hadn't waited for.